Hello students, welcome to Breedmark Academy. Myself LS Nanda. Now in our previous year question series of JEE Main and JEE Advanced, this is the today's question. This is a wonderful problem on the topic of definite integrals. In this question, we have to find the value of the integral 0 to 1 GIF function of minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1 dx. Now students, this question will test your concepts of quadratic polynomial, inequalities, as well as greatest integer function. Now, whenever you have to find the value of a definite integral that involves greatest integer function, then you must always find those values of x for which the expression inside the greatest integer function attains an integral value. Right? So for that purpose, we will have to find the range of the quadratic polynomial minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1. When x belongs to closed 0 to 1. Because of the lower and upper limits of this definite integral, x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. Now students, to find the range of this particular polynomial, I will be using perfect square completion method and inequalities. Now, minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1 can be written as minus 8. I have taken common outside. Inside the bracket, x square minus 6 upon 8 into x plus 1 upon 8. Now students, just break down the term inside the bracket either into the sum of two perfect squares or in the difference of two perfect squares. Now this will become x minus 3 upon 8 whole square plus 1 upon 8 minus 9 upon 64. Now students, this can further be written as minus 8 into x minus 3 upon 8 whole square, and then this becomes 8 minus 9, which is minus 1 upon 64. Now just take minus 8 inside. It becomes 1 by 8 minus 8 into x minus 3 upon 8 whole square. Now students, since the value of x belongs to closed 0 to 1, so if I subtract 3 by 8 throughout this inequality, I will be getting the value of x minus 3 by 8 lying between closed minus 3 by 8 to 5 upon 8. Right? Now students, we move further. Now students, I can say that x minus 3 upon 8 whole square will be greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 25 upon 64. Now just multiply this inequality by minus 8 throughout. So now this lies between minus 25 upon 8 to 0. Now add 1 upon 8 throughout this inequality so as to get the range of the quadratic polynomial. And the range of the quadratic polynomial comes as closed interval minus 3 comma 1 upon 8. Right? Now students, from here I can easily tell that the possible integral values for this quadratic polynomial are minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 and 0 when x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. Right? Now, if I call this particular quadratic polynomial as f of x, then the values of f of x at endpoints, that is at x equal to 0 and x equal to 1, are going to be f of 0 will be minus 1 and f of 1 will be minus 8 plus 6 minus 1. and this comes out to be minus 3. Now students, these values will help us to plot the graph of this function. Now we know that the graph of a quadratic polynomial is a parabola. Since the coefficient of x square in this case is negative, so it is going to be a downward parabola. But before plotting the graph of this function, first of all, let's find the values of x for which f of x will become 0. That means those values of x at which the graph will intersect the x-axis. Now let's solve this equation. Students, from here we get two values of x, and they are x equal to half and 1 upon 4. Now we will plot the rough sketch or rough graph of this function. Now students, we know that when the coefficient of x square in a quadratic polynomial is negative, then the maximum value of quadratic polynomial is attained at x equal to minus b upon 2a, where b is the coefficient of x and a is the coefficient of x square. Now in this case, the maximum value of f of x will be attained at minus 6 divided upon 2 times minus 8. So this comes out to be 3 upon 8. So that means at x equal to 3 upon 8, the function f of x will attain its maximum value. And its maximum value is 1 upon 8. We have already found it. So now let's make the rough graph of the function f of x. Now students, at x equal to 1, the function attains its minimum value. We have already found it. And minimum value is minus 3. At x equal to 0, the value of the function is minus 1. At x equal to 1 by 4 and at x equal to half, the graph of the function f of x intersects the x-axis. That means the value of f of x will be 0. And at x equal to 3 upon 8, it attains its maximum value, which is 1 upon 8. Right? Now students, before I find the value of the definite integral, just look at some important points. First of all, the function f of x will attain the value equal to minus 1 at two different values of x. One of the values is x equal to 0 and another value we will have to find. Secondly, f of x becomes 0 at 2 points which are known to us, x equal to 1 by 4 and x equal to half. And f of x is equal to minus 3 at only 1 point, which is x equal to 1. And lastly, f of x will be equal to minus 2 again at 1 point only, which we have to find. Now students, let's find out those values of x for which f of x becomes equal to minus 2 and for which f of x becomes equal to minus 1. Now f of x is minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1. Just put it equal to minus 2. And now solve this equation. So x becomes equal to 6 plus minus square root of 36 plus 32 divided by 16. Now the value of x comes as 6 plus minus square root of 68, which is 2 root 17 divided by 16. Now students, we get two values of x and they are 3 plus minus root 17 divided by 8. Now, since the interval of x is closed 0 to 1, so we will have to reject x equal to 3 minus root 17 divided by 8. So the only value of x comes as 3 plus root 17 divided by 8. At this value, f of x will become equal to minus 2. Right? Now students, we move further. Now students, let's find out the values of x for which f of x is equal to minus 1. Now just put minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1 equal to minus 1. So from here we get minus 8x square plus 6x equal to 0. Take out minus 2x common. Inside the bracket you will get 4x minus 3 equal to 0. So from here we get two values of x and they are 0 or 3 by 4. Now x equal to 3 upon 4 is the second value of x for which f of x is equal to minus 1. Now students, we can easily conclude that in the closed interval 0 to 1, there are four values of x which are 1 upon 4, 1 upon 2, 3 upon 4 and 3 plus root 17 upon 8, at which we will have to break the definite integral. Why? Because at these values of x, f of x becomes an integer. Now students, I am listing all the possible values of JEE function of f of x in the closed interval 0 to 1. You can easily find out these values from the graph itself. Now when x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1 upon 4, then the value of JEE function of f of x is minus 1. When x is greater than or equal to 1 upon 4 and less than or equal to half, its value is 0. It becomes minus 1 again when x is greater than half and less than or equal to 3 upon 4. This is minus 2 when x is greater than 3 by 4 and less than or equal to 3 plus root 17 by 8. And lastly, this value is minus 3 when x is greater than 3 plus root 17 upon 8 but less than or equal to 1. Now students, this chart of values will help us to find the value of the definite integral. Now students, the integral 0 to 1 JEE function of minus 8x square plus 6x minus 1 dx will become equal to integral 0 to 1 upon 4 minus 1 dx plus integral 1 upon 4 to 1 upon 2 0 dx plus integral 1 upon 2 to 3 by 4 minus 1 dx plus integral 3 by 4 to 3 plus root 17 upon 8 minus 2 dx, and lastly from 3 plus root 17 upon 8 to 1 it is minus 3 dx. Now students, just calculate all the values. It becomes minus 1 upon 4 plus 0 plus 1 upon 2 minus 3 upon 4 minus 2 times inside the bracket 3 plus root 17 by 8 minus 3 by 4 and then minus 3 into inside the bracket 1 minus 3 plus root 17 upon 8. Now just calculate it and get the answer. Now students, after doing calculation, we get 3 plus root 17 whole divided upon 8 minus 2. and this is 3 plus root 17 minus 16 whole divided upon 8, or root 17 minus 13 whole divided upon 8. So hence option C is the correct one. So this was the detailed explanation of the question. Now students, next question I will be posting in tomorrow's video. Till then, goodbye. Keep watching my videos and enhance your knowledge of mathematics. Thanks.